Gabriele?
Yes.
How do you feel after this last 4 days?
Well, there was a lot of work that we've done, and I feel more and more convinced that what we're doing has a real deep meaning, not only for Albania, but more generally for the world.
Did you expect such a thing when you came here?
Well, not in this scope. I wasn't, well, of course I came to check out, progress and to see, what was going on. And I am pleased to say that it met my expectation and it surprised me in a positive way. All the work that has been done and all the conversation we had, and especially the spirit of the people that are in. And I think it's, it's a great starting point. There is a lot of willingness to grow, to participate, to share, and we have to stress that out. We need to start going out. We need to start having the procedures in place where, we are aware of the people that are joining the party and that the things are a little bit more under control that way. But, it's also interesting to see that when, something, it's growing this fast, there is a lot of spontaneity where we don't want to break into it. We want just to guide it. We just want to make sure we keep on growing and we don't disperse all the energy.
Do you think that in these times of consumerism, pandemia, huge crisis, huge democratical challenges like even those in the United States now on the regards of the elections, it's still time for idealism? So this thing, do you think it's appropriate, or it's just a dream of some people who...
Well, I think, I think idealism comes when, you are coping with a reality that is not quite the reality you would like. Of course, today people are very confused because we have been told so many different things about this COVID-19, and we have to admit that most of the government have got no idea of what they were dealing with. We have many different procedures in place, even inside the European community. We don't have one agenda for the whole world, although the virus is only one. Everybody is putting their energy and their effort into different things. We could argue that there is very little knowledge on how to handle this, and this is creating confusion. This is creating a state of mind in people of being afraid, of being confused. So I think, yes, it's time for idealism. It's time to, it's time to regroup. It's time to look inside and to find solutions, but new solutions. And I think in that spirit, LRA, the new movement, it's right on the money. It's right where it should be. It also has to do with Albania, with the internal crisis that we are following and we are seeing also from outside. It's never a good idea where you have different political parties threatening each other and to wanting to bring the country to the verge of civil unrest and violence. So I think Albania needs at this point, it needs a more stable government. It needs, to improve the relationship with, not only with other countries, but especially with entrepreneurs. Money should flow in, when people should feel comfortable and not threatened by, instability. Especially in a moment like this where, crisis is also opportunity, but, you have to have a country that's willing to give some reassurance to foreign people that are coming in and that are bringing money, that are bringing knowledge, that are bringing their, they're moving their life to this country. It needs to be, somehow dealt with a welcome, and not saying, okay, you're welcome today, but we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Look, we have this feeling that during the end of 80s and at the beginning of 90s, when the wall of Berlin fall and the communism fall down, a huge trick took over the world. So it was like a compromise. The communists never didn't really go. They never really left. And in Albania, for example, we think that the political pluralism, it's fake political pluralism. We don't really have a political pluralism. From 1990 till now, we have a presidentocratic pluralism. So one man he is all the party, everything. But on the other hand, there are three other components that keep our democracy hostage. The former secret services of the communist times, they put their people in the free market world, so they are the new entrepreneurs. So they control everything, our economy, our finances, our banks. The owners of the televisions belong again to the former Communist Party and to the former secret services. And the question is, meanwhile the world is living this crisis, democratic crisis, we were not able in these 30 years to really get to exercise democracy.
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that today you can have, LRA, a new movement, and that 20 years ago or 30 years ago you couldn't have had it. So somehow what you're saying is true, but somehow it's not. It is true, that you have, once you started a process, for a long time, this process is going to influence the system. So you had a strong system, a pyramidal system, and at the top, the Communist Party and the people that were acting in the name of the Communist Party. But in the meantime, you have the people underneath, learning in these 30 years a little bit about freedom. So it is true, many times, power is retained by the groups that had power before, but less and less. If you look at the church 600 years ago, you had Inquisition. You had, people being persecuted for not being Catholic or not going to church. Today, that is not anymore the case. So power, again, exercised by the oligarchs and the ex-Communist Party, or, what is left of the of the Communist Party, of course it retains a power. Of course it retains, a lot of energy from those days. But it's going to be less and less and less and less. And it needs time. It needs time for people to feel free and to be able to understand that they have rights. And of course, they're going to be tricked into, you know, into new type of manipulation. Of course, the ones that had, you know, the start ahead had a better look into, you know, the business, because they had, you know, secret informations, and that because they had the power and the connection to make things happen. But as you know, as LRA and other party may, you know, grow and into this country, maybe, you know, also, you know, the moral politics, the ethic of politics will change. And so I think this is the process. The process is difficult. Not only the people have to change, but the party leader have to change. And that's why I say, you know, this remains of the old power, where someone wakes up one morning and thinks, oh, I'm gonna, you know, stir up trouble inside the country. I'm gonna fight with the, you know, mercenaries, or I'm gonna fight with, you know, a bunch of my armed people against the central power. It doesn't really work. It doesn't really work in a world where, you know, me as an entrepreneur, you know, if I see something like that, I just leave the country, you know, and the country will, you know, will lose more and more energy, more and more power. And today, you know, you'll have the NATO intervening, and the chaos and starting again. So somehow it cannot be dealt, you know, and power and control cannot be dealt in the old ways. This is just like childish playing. It's like Trump saying, okay, you know, they robbed me of my election day. Yes, somehow, you know, there may be something that didn't work the way it should have, but that's, you know, for Trump, and that's for Biden too. So again, if the system doesn't work, it doesn't work not only for Trump, but it doesn't work for Biden as well. I believe, you know, that we have to grow up and really try to do our best, and really try to change the system. And of course, some people are going to have a way of doing things like they used to. So probably, you know, they think that they can go around and kill people. They think that they can go around and threaten people. They think they can go around and steal things. But, you know, if we're good enough, and if we are really a compacted society and really want to see a change, well, we have to defend each other. Then, well, we have to, you know, stand up for our right. And things will change. Things have changed before and will change again.
In fact, you said more or less same thing in a very reflective way. And I agree with you. Because it takes new births, new energies, initiatives, platforms, alternatives, to start the process of changing the country, or changing the history, or the course of, or the journey of things going around. And yes, I agree with you, and my point is that one of the reasons of our existence is because we consider ourselves like the last of the Mohicans. Because
very romantic.
Very romantic. In a very romantic way, we consider ourselves, because we see like the hands that control powers, political powers, economic powers, media in Albania. They try to implicate, to make dirt anybody, to make part of wrongdoing anybody. So just a few are left clean, and we are trying to gather those few. That's why we call ourselves the last of the Mohicans. So we are the last ones who have been kept out of wrongdoing or evil, and who are out of control.
Okay, but I'm sorry for interrupting you. I don't want to go too far in the discussion. I think, you know, there is a point to be made here. if you trust the system, as you said, to be able to implicate people into something wrong, although they are not, well, then you give too much credit to the system. And you should, in my point of view, you should not give all this credit to the system. It doesn't matter if they, if they spoil your ideas. It doesn't matter if they, implicate you in some wrongdoing. Nelson Mandela was in jail for many, many years, more than 20. And that doesn't, didn't change what he was doing. You can only, you should think, in my point of view, you should think that you can only be judged by God and history and not by a political party that it's an adversary. In that respect, I think, they can say whatever they want. They can try to trigger you into whatever they want. The truth is, you're trying to change the system, and the system is going to try to resist this in any way they can. If they can, in a nice ethical way, they'll do it in a nice ethical way. If they can't do it in a nice ethical way, they'll find other vicious way to do it. But that doesn't change who you are. That doesn't change, your perspective and what you want to do.
Right, and that's the point. So I am ending by saying, in this concept, in this part, that's why we consider ourselves like the very foundation of political pluralism in Albania, because we are the first party and the first group which is not in any field or in any part, in any way controlled by the system. So we are totally free, which is a rarity. And the other thing is that this gives us space to do something really deliberate, honest, with the citizens, from the citizens, for the citizens. The other thing is that we consider like a huge damage to our democracy the fact that the political parties that have been founded after 1990 as representatives of the right wing in Albania, they are fake right wing. So we consider ourselves a refoundation of the central right wing and of the right wing political wing, not a historicist one, but a doctrinal one. So this is one of the challenges we have. So my point is, our mission is a little bit much more higher than catch-all parties that are being created now all around the world. We have these catch-all parties which try to gather people and get some positions and get some seats in the parliament, and we want to do something a little bit more strong, more important for the history of our country. So when you are here, you are part of such a history. That's
well, that's probably why I'm here. In Italy we had the Italian government is run now by a coalition of two parties. The left wing party and the Cinque Stelle, the Five Stars party. And the Five Stars party started out saying, "Oh, we don't care about the old system. We are completely new. We are going to fight the system. We're going to fight the left wing. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." At one point, they form a government with the right wing, with Salvini, with Giorgia Meloni, and as time goes by, the left wing grew, and finally, what happened was that there was a new party forming between, a new coalition forming between the Cinque Stelle and the left wing party. So what this story is telling us is that people with no experience, with no school educations, with no attachment to politics and knowledge of politics, have come to power, and I believe that's very, very dangerous. I express myself many times saying that in order to do politics, you really need experience, you really need to study, you really need to know what you're doing. It's not enough just go out and trick people and put yourself in the position where you are a minister, because then that's just the beginning, of it's not the success. They see that as the arrival point, is to gain power and control over the people. I see that as the starting point. That's the moment where you should show all your qualities. That should show what you've studied for. That should show, what good are you going to do for the people. And that's very unfortunate, because this is instead the moment where they fail. They don't know what to do. They start, cracking up. They start fighting over, silly things. And you have a government that spends millions on, on desks with wheels for kids, and spends millions in electric bicycles, and the economic and foreign politics is just, going down the drain. So I think, it's in the respect of this experience that has happened many times over in Italy. My suggestion, I'm not a politician, I am just, I'm a strategist. My suggestion is, work your way up slowly but surely and build, the capability of having people around you capable and knowledgeable and intelligent and strong enough, to really make the difference when you're going to be up there. What I can tell you that those days I've been meeting with a lot of people, entrepreneurs, people from the political parties, even the mayor of Tirana, and so much has been done. No matter what, my impression is that Tirana is very active, and a lot of things, good things, are happening. And of course, maybe you as a political leader do not agree with me, but we should take all the goods that there is and try to make it better. One thing that we have seen in many political challenges around the world, in some countries, and again, I can tell you, from my direct experience, because I was working there at the time, many times what happens is one political party goes into control. They build, certain things that are good for the country, but because they were built under that political sign, when the next one arrives, it destroys everything just because. So I think, to be honest, you also have to recognize the good that is in other people, and you should, try to put together your energy sometimes and try to maximize the result for the good of everybody. This is my, strategic vision. It doesn't have anything to do with political vision, that I understand, sometimes it clashes against, whatever the other party has done. But, to be honest, we really need to, in this moment of crisis, we really need all the energy, all the help, all the good that we can bring out of people, and all the good that has been done. This is my opinion.
Perfect. How would you describe Albania with a few words, now that you are on your second visit here, and so you know a little bit more, you've seen a little bit more? So how would you describe?
Albania is in a great position. It needs a lot of development, which it seems that is, little by little taking place. It needs more, probably more freedom in the way people can come here, invest money, and a little bit more probably security. Most of it, I believe that it needs communication with the outside world, where it proves itself to be a safe place to come and to invest, and shows all the beautiful possibilities that there are. There is so much, there is so much history, there is so much in terms of nature, in terms of, you know, things to be done. The city of Tirana is growing so much, and I believe, you know, Durham can grow as well. And there is so much to do wherever you turn. There is, you know, there is a lot of things to be done, but also there is a lot of culture. You know, you go around Tirana, you see the restaurants and the food is, you know, are great. I never felt threatened by anyone. Wherever I go, I can, you know, see that there are friendly people, and service is very good. So it shows a higher standard, you know, of a civilization, and I think it's misjudged. You know, many times it's misjudged outside the country. So I would say it needs to open up channels of communication and show that it's ready to grow. And because of Europe and the situation around the world, I'm sure that a place like this is, you know, it's heaven for a lot of people.
So you think Albania it's a country ready to receive foreign investments and?
Well, from one side, I think so. From the other side, I see, you know, very strange. I don't want to get into, you know, details, but I see, you know, some of the politicians acting in a very strange way, like they are pirates, you know, and they can, you know, do whatever they want. And the point is, maybe they should use their energy to build hospitals and to make this nation great again. Like I like to say, let's make Albania great again. So I believe that Albania should find a more stable political environment. And I know maybe you don't like that, because you say, hey, you know, we need new parties to take over, and we need more democracy, more change. But also the system to grow needs stability. So it needs, you know, more responsible people, maybe. This is my answer. It doesn't need more chaos, you know, it doesn't need more instability. It needs more stability in the instability. It needs more more options, but more options don't mean more, you know, craziness. It doesn't mean entropy. Entropy is never good. Entropy is the beginning of all the ends. So I would suggest that, you know, we start, you know, toning down certain things and show that it's mature enough. The politics is mature enough to be able to come together and have differences and take the best out of whatever idea it comes. And this is my idea of politics. My idea of politics is people coming together with responsibility and ethic. I don't think we are seeing quite that yet in Albania.
So you believe that responsible politics, more democracy, more honesty on institutions would make Albania great again?
I totally think so. I totally think that if an investor can come here and not having to be threatened by, you know, some kind of crazy guy going like, I'm gonna, you know, do whatever to stay in power or to take power or to challenge the government. I think, you know, a lot of people are going to come here. The weather is great. The country is great. The possibilities are great. It's very well located. It's got beautiful beaches. It doesn't have any, you know, religion tension, and you know, and it's open to a lot of, you know, to a lot of business. And I think, you know, there is a lot of culture. The truth is Albania is an old state, and in the DNA of the people there is a lot of respect, a lot of culture.
Mm-hmm. Would you describe now? Have you an understanding or a thought or I don't know, an opinion or a reflection? Can you describe with a few words how do you see Lëvizja?
I see in a position of responsibility. I think, you know, this party can really show political ethic, can really show that the dream is possible, incredible, and I know it's hard. It's hard because people do not believe. The people have, you know, the tendency to say, oh, well, you know, I have to go and work for my food, and once I have food on the table for me and my kids, who cares about the rest? But it's also true that we need a dream. We need not to, just to survive and to have our kids survive, but we need to make this place a better place. We need to share, we need to be happy, we need to be, we need to feel part of a community that it's doing something good. And I think this is a fundamental inner force that we should share. And that's in that respect, I think LRA, for what I've seen so far, is a great melting place. It's a great melting pot where a lot of good people have come here, and a lot of good people have come to share and to, you know, and to give their time, their energy, their thoughts. And for me, it's great just to spend time with these people and talk and share and get your ideas and you know, and be able to show also how things should be constructed in order not to waste, not to lose all this energy and all this goodwill.
You are an activist that in your life you have belonged to the center-right wing. How do you think those ideas can fit with LRE? So can LRE really revive the center-right wing in Albania?
I think historically we should a little overcome that point. You know, again, I think Italy, you know, 20, 30 years ago was in the same position where it's Albania today. We had great potential. Italy was had, of course, an economic power, much bigger than it is today, and the power was retained by the same group for many years. And actually, I just finished reading a book about the fact that although there was a change, the change was always controlled by the same families and the same group and the same. So, you know, it's like history is repeating, but it's not really history repeating. It's really, you know, how complex systems work. And so you can't replace a complex system in one zip. It takes time. And it's like, you know, for your body, you don't get sick tomorrow morning unless you get into an accident. So that will, you know, compare to a war. But except, you know, if you take out those exceptions, if you get sick or if you get, you know, usually it takes time, and it's not one event that will make you sick. Probably you don't take your vitamin C for years to come, you don't take your vitamin D, then you don't take your vitamin K1, and the pressure goes on. You know, when the pressure goes up, and then you start seeing in not really well, and then, you know, maybe your liver, you know, swollen a little bit, and you don't take care of your liver, and you keep drinking whatever you're drinking, and you're not, you know, drinking enough, and so finally, you know, after many years of inflammatory disease, and, you know, here and there, then you develop a cancer. But that's not, you know, it's not the cancer the problem. The problem is the way you lived up to that point. The problem is that you haven't been taking care of your body. You haven't been taking care of what, you know, your soul needs. It's not just a matter of saying, you know, I have a great spirit. You know, I'm a positive, great spirit. Yes, you are a positive, great spirit, but you also have a, you know, molecular body that needs to know that you're taking care of it. So you need to stop thinking, you know, this is my body, I'll do whatever I want with it. That's your body, but you need to take care of your body. You need to give the right amount of minerals, the right amount of vitamins, the right amount of fat, the right amount of everything in order for your body to function. And you need to work out, you need to do things. So in the same, in the same way, a country like Albania, like Italy, like Germany, like any other country, it needs, a lot of factors to be nourished, to be brought to function very well. And so that's the whole point. The whole point is to be able to understand first what you need, what your body needs or what your country needs, and then to provide those things and make those changes. And those changes are going to take time. It's not like I'm taking vitamin C today or I'm taking vitamin K1 today and my pressure is going to go down tomorrow morning. It doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, we always think, oh, I go to the doctor when I'm very sick and the doctor is going to solve the problem. The doctor doesn't solve the problem in 99% of the cases. The doctor does solve the symptom. And symptom goes away, so you feel better, and you say, oh, I'm okay. No, you're not okay. All those symptoms that you had, are gone, but all the problems are still there, or 80% of the problems are still there, and they're just getting more complicated. The system just gets more and more twisted and tied up.
Now I have a very direct question.
Yeah, I love direct questions.
Do you really think that in such a country with fake democracy, fake pluralism, with oligarchs, with organized crime, with owners of the media who are in symbiosis with three main parties, so no media coverage at all, nothing. We don't exist for the media. With zero money, zero powers. Do you really think that we can make a change? Do you really think that we can do something?
Well, in my vision, something is happening. In my vision, there was not an office. Now there is an office. Tomorrow there are going to be two offices. Before there was no Facebook, live connections with, when it started out, it was 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 50,000 people. So somehow, no matter how you want to put it, the energy is coming together, and who knows, maybe somebody is watching over you. Maybe, you think there is nothing, but there is more than what the eyes can meet. What I can tell you and what I say to people is, you never know. Maybe, maybe somebody is, is watching over you, and somebody is getting ready to say, hey, here is 100 million. We want really this thing to change. And, maybe, you never know. But I believe that things do change. It takes time, but they do change. And the change is here. I mean, look at all that's, being growing in the latest months, and the fact that no matter what, I'm here, I'm talking to you, and before we met in London, now I'm here, and maybe there are going to be more of me joining the party. Maybe, maybe more parties are going to open around the world. Maybe this is, going to be something that it's on an international level, that it started here for some kind of crazy reason, and is going to contaminate the world, and the things are really going to change. And then you'll see that, a crooked party here, or a bunch of mafioso, here, are not going to be able to sustain or fight good people around the world. I mean, many international forces. Because when, you have international pressure over one single group in a single country, it's very hard for a single group in a single country to be, to be able to sustain the pressure of the world.
So you don't see us, for example, with the eyes of a friendship you have with me, and with the positivity that the friendship can give in your thoughts, in your reflections. You don't see us even as some crazy people who are on the edge of doing an adventure, a crazy adventure.
I think you are crazy, but I think, you know, I think you're crazy. And I always stress out the fact that you have to be a little crazy to believe you're going to make a change. But like I said yesterday, you know, incredible things happen when you believe into something. And of course you can argue that Christ was crazy. He finally got killed by the very people he was trying to save. But again, maybe, you know, our life and our being here in this world is not about, you know, surviving. It's not about living forever. It's about making a change, making a difference. And I believe in that respect, we have a great chance of really, you know, doing and hoping and making that change. And it's really up to every single person. So history is full of examples. History is full of people that died before they could really make a change. But it's also full of examples of people dying, making that change. And, you know, some wonderful moments where not only they made a change, but they survived to keep, you know, to have legacy into the future.
Okay, have you ever thought, for example, you'll be here with us?
I am here with you.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll be here with us during the real challenge, which would be...
It is a real challenge every day.
Well, okay, you'll be with us during the struggle, the battle, the electoral campaign. And let's take this case. For example, we could fail. We could...
You can't. In my point of view, I'm sorry if I contradict you, you are the leader of the party, Mr. Galdini, but you can't fail. You can't fail because the matter is, if you're here and you believe in what you do, that's already a victory. So you can fail. How are you going to fail? You can not make it to the parliament. You cannot, you know, make it to, your candidate cannot make it to power. But that doesn't mean you're failing. You are actually succeeding no matter what. The other party can fail. The other party is in power. They have everything to lose. What are you going to lose? How are you going to fail? You have nothing. Like you said before, you cannot fail.
Well, but on this, yes, on this way of seeing it, on this point of view, yes, people expect that you gather them, you make them together to achieve a goal. So they want to see you getting as many votes as is possible.
Well, it's up to them.
So
they have to understand that it's their responsibility. If they don't go out, if they don't make the change, if they don't believe, you know, and sell their idea and sell their, you know, their proposition to other people and make all this possible, like the people that made this office possible. They believed in, you know, in whatever, you know, you were doing, in the theme and the story you were telling. And so this office came out of nothing. And so, you know, in the same way, if people wants to see you inside the parliament, well, they can, you know, they can take responsibility and put you there, or they cannot. And it's not going to be your fault. It's not going to be your unsuccess. It's going to be everybody's failure. So everybody should take responsibility. This is a moment where people can make a difference. Are they going to? Well, that's their problem, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great. Now, as a strategic advisor of LRE, do you have goals? So where do you see LRE during the elections of next year?
I don't know if I should be so open, since we're not talking in a private, you know, little environment. But what I would like to tell you is that, to me, the main principal goal is to organize the party, is to maximize the results. So at this point, I see that we need more communication. We certainly need to be able to get to the media, and we should be able to rally up people and start, really putting pressure on some key points. And we should really start organizing our forces. We start reaching numbers that are very interesting. And so another point that I would like to address is the internationalization of LRA, and the work you've started, when you came to Rome, and when you're moving around in Washington. I think another point is to really start talking to other leaders of other political parties around the world. Because again, this will give LRA the respect, the power, and the energy to overcome probably the isolation that finds in this country. So there is a lot of work to be done. I think we have to be very, very careful in where we put our energies. And this is another point. Another point is we should start regarding all the energies that it comes in as something that we have to value, and we have to be very, very careful on also on your time, on maximizing your time. And we're gonna have to start hiring key figures to be able to address, for instance, public speeches, to have a front spokesman. So we need to start structuring this party, and things grow to a certain point spontaneously, like you have but a different thing is to have a field full of fruit and full of things that you have to harvest. It's beautiful to find whatever you need outside, but then we need to start growing our own energy and giving direction to what we do. So I urge the party to reconsider many of the things that were spontaneous before, and even the access to the office. Before anyone could come here and spend time, and it was great. I think now we got to be more focused. Now here, we have little time to organize lots of things. April is around the corner. We need people that come in the office and work in the office. This is not a place where, I'm sorry to say, this is my point of view, as a strategic analyst. We need to focus more. We need to do better. We can do much better. We need to build a much better website and with a lot of functions, and we need to translate books, like I said last night. We need to start, really recruiting people that have a higher education, and the ones that we trust, we need to bring them to a higher level. As a party, I'm not talking as a political leader. I'm talking, structurally. This is what I see.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see us in the next 5 years?
Well, I see that I don't want to say where I see us in 5 years, as in terms of political rewards. I believe we're going to be in a very nice position. I don't want to say anything. You and your party more than we. But I believe most of it, that if we keep on growing spiritually and emotionally and culturally and politically the way we are growing today, in numbers and in strength, I think it's going to be a great party, and I think it's going to be a great example of politics, not only for Albania but for the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.